So let's take a look at the Hub feature. And this week we tackle the AFL. Aussie Rules has become our national game. TV networks are fighting tooth and nail for the rights, and the fan base has never been bigger. But how has it affected AFL culture at a grassroots level? The Hub has been out in amongst it. For God's sake, Cheryl, will you stop waving goodbye? The show's not over, or I'm just closing the gift shop.
It's not a matter of being silly and saying it's my code, therefore I think it's the best. But statistically, against the population centres that it plays in, it has more spectators than any other code of football in the world.
In 1976, 3 million footy fans went through the AFL turnstiles. By 1996, that number had more than doubled. Aussie Rules is riding the crest of a wave that has swept it from the VFL and minor state leagues to the point where it's become Australia's national game. A Football Life, penned by lifelong footy fan and journalist Clinton Walker, captures not only the history of Aussie Rules, but its significance to our culture.
It unifies the city. I mean, it's not like rugby league and rugby union, one being blue and one being white collar. Australian rules football cuts across the classes, absolutely.
Australian rules football began life in 1886 and was invented to keep cricketers fit during the winter. Walker points out that, like early Australia, its rules were always a movable feast.
In rugby league, rugby union, you know, the starting point is we've got this line, it's like a moat on a castle, and we're going to stop you guys getting into our property because we own the property. This is the English ruling class laying down that law. In Australian rules football, which was born of a gold rush as much as anything else, it's just kind of like, beep, go for it.
I've never been to rugby league, don't even go there. I can't see the point of the game, sorry.
AFL has always had a strong female following. The Sydney Swans boasts a membership of 40%, a fan base that the club's #1 patron Michael Willesee attributes to its success.
If women don't like it, then it's limited, like boxing is limited, like rugby league is limited.
When the Sydney Swans arrived here, they targeted women because they knew that rugby league never had the appeal to women.
My first match, I love AFL.
The first match?
My first match.
AFL Virgin no more.
The babies go to the football. The mothers take their children to the football at the age of 1, 2 and 3 years of age.
Channel 7 paid $10 million for the latest AFL rights, with 3 million viewers nationally every weekend, and the corporate boxes overflowing. Walker's book is in part a lament for the little leagues and a warning not to mess with a quintessential Aussie game.
They're already tweaking the rules. They've got the blood bin kind of rule now, and there's talk about outlawing the bump, the fair bump, which is where you can sort of hit a guy with your hip and shoulder. And to me, that's against the spirit of the game. They're changing the rules to accommodate television to a certain extent too. The game will always be hard to put on television.
This is probably one of the best games in the world to watch live. Rugby league suits television, gridiron, which is basically these days designed for television, is that AFL is very much like a chess game, and television can't pick up all the moves.
An AFL highlights program is broadcast weekly all over the world to an estimated audience of 594 million people. So what about the international question?
I think AFL will go international. There's been a few exhibition matches in the States, in Britain, one coming up this year.
Parts of the American education system are putting it into schools as part of their curriculum because it's a very cheap game to set up.
First of all, it's got to crack America. How much money and time would that take, and then how much would that take away from what we need to be doing here anyway?
I think we worry about that problem when it happens. I mean, we have the greatest game, we should share it with the world.